Hi everybody, this is Diane. I am going to start getting signatures ready, like the pages for the signatures ready for these two Golden Book journals that I'll be working on. And someone asked me if I would show how I do the Golden Book journals. So I'm going to try to show as much of the process as I can in upcoming videos. Before I get started on that, I just want to show you how I finished up collaging in here. This is the journal that I bought from Jessica Rapp at Two Silver Oranges. And I journaled in it, but there were a lot of pages that I couldn't journal on, and I collaged on them. I don't think I did every page because it got so fat. I just thought I've got to stop, but then I did a few more pages at the back. So I'll just flip through quickly. I already did a flip through on the front pages, so I won't do that. You can go back and see a video showing the collages I did on these pages. Just trying to see where I left off. Okay. I don't know if I did. I think I did that page. Okay, so this is some patchwork paper that a strip that I had cut off. It's got 4 pieces and they're staggered in length. So I just glued that on. Coffee dyed paper, and then this is tea dyed paper, or coffee dyed paper that I cut with my Big Shot in that design and used that book page. I may have shown this one on a video. And then this is just a card that I received from Perio. So it's in German. So I just glued that down there. Then we had this little envelope, avocado dyed envelope. It may have had something in it, but if it did, I had taken it out and probably used it somewhere. And I didn't put anything back in there because I'm done using this journal, so I'm not going to write on anything else. So I just decorated the envelope. I just took this piece that says photo here and glued it there, and then glued that cute image with a tab on it. That's all I did. And then just to decorate this blank part of the page, I glued on a piece of a school teacher's ledger and another piece of scrapbook paper that says photo here. I guess I did do, I don't remember if I did this one, but that's one of the vintage receipts that Jessica included in the book. She included bunches of paper clipped ephemera, so I took that out and kind of used it throughout the book. And I just glued on a bunch of stuff there. This is wrapping paper, music paper, a digital image that I fussy cut, and so is this. And that came off of a package. I had a bunch of them and I cut those numbers off and saved them. And then I just glued her onto this. And then these ladies. Oh, this is coming apart. I didn't do anything here, just left them. There's another lady and one of the numbers. This is also from Perio. And I just put a sticker up here from the library. It says Build a Better World. I added some washi tape here just to add some color. And then I did this collage. I had gotten the Trader Joe's December flyer. I didn't get the fall one, and somebody heard me say something about not getting the flyers anymore, so she sent me one. So thank you very much. And the day before that came, I got the December one in the mail, so it's kind of weird. But anyway, that's just from a magazine and some washi tape, and then this penguin sitting in a cup of hot cocoa is from Trader Joe's. And here is a piece of the Simplicity wrapping paper that I bought at Joann's, some handmade paper, and just some little elements that I stuck on there. It's another Trader Joe's image, little squirrel, and I put some washi tape down there. I'm not sure where this scrap of, I think this was wallpaper. Somebody must have sent that to me. And then I had this frame and this lady from Trader Joe's, and she's holding out something, a product that she was advertising, and I just glued this number on there. The number doesn't mean anything except maybe this was on the 4th, December 4th. Image from a magazine, a little die cut here, and I think that's a printable. Couple of die cuts. I think they were both printables. And a number. This was part of the ephemera that she sent with this book, and I loved it because that was my husband's name. So I took him out of the envelope that he was tucked inside and put him right out here where I can see him. And then added some washi tape and another piece of scrapbook paper. I added a strip of my numbers there and some vintage wallpaper and one of my stamped ladies. This is from a yearbook, and this came from an old scrapbook that somebody sent me. It was full of envelopes that came from around the country. The lady saved the envelopes. And for this, I just glued this image on from a magazine. It's got some steampunk hats, and then this lady wearing her pretty hat, and I just put on the word gorgeous. This is from a magazine. A clock and a number, and it just says make art. Just a pretty image that I like. Came out of a magazine. Just some extra stuff that I had. And here is just an airplane from a children's book that Jessica included in this journal. And I glued it up there, and a little strip of scrapbook paper that looks like a map. And then on the back, I just glued this in from a magazine. It says, believe in yourself and let the glitter fly. Create what you dream of, listen to your heart, have fun, and just do it. And just some more collaged stuff. This is from a vintage book. This is from a modern book. And a printable, and some washi tape. So I could have done more here, but this is when I decided that the book was getting so full. Oh, there's another image from a magazine. I just glued her on by herself. So I kind of left some stuff. I did glue this on from, it had my hotel key in it. So I found the days that I was on vacation and just glued it there, and then put these little cards that had been in one of the envelopes that Jessica sent. And you can see how much I wrote in this book. Here's the Harry Potter World postcard that my grandson sent me when they were down in Florida. I just paper clipped it to this glassine bag, or glassine paper. I should take these out and glue them in the book. I could do that to add some more embellishments. This one was a book page, children's book page, I think, that was about, or maybe it was just a nature book, but it had a really ugly picture of a boar here. And so I took the chocolate package that came from Germany, from Perio, and I glued the image here, put some scrapbook paper there, and then I glued one of the foil wrappers from one of the pieces of chocolate there. And here's the little snowman from the ornament that I got from Hallmark, from This is a special ornament that only Hallmark employees get. We get one every year. So that's what it looks like this year. And I put the 5 there because it's my 5th ornament. This is from a vintage magazine. And then I had fun with this one. This image was from an art journaling magazine or something like that, one of those Somerset magazines. And these 2 hands were from Trader Joe's flyer, and there was something in this hand, so I just cut around the thumb so I could slide this image into it and replace what it was holding. And then this hand was holding something, and I cut that out and just made it look like he's adjusting her hat or putting it on or taking it off or something. And I used the word sassy. And then I just glued on this image from an old magazine. And that's it. I'll go back in and add some of these green stamps. And then that journal is done. Now, I wanted to show you, in yesterday's video, I did some of these with the giant slide mounts that Lehman sent me. And I had done this one on the camera, on video, and I did this one on video. It's got acetate behind it. And then I had a third one to do, which I did after I turned the camera off, and I used 3 different of the brown shades of Distress Oxide and some stamps, and vintage magazine advertisements. Happiness is yours if you feel well. So I have those done. I wanted you to see the third one. I'm going to put them in a safe place. Then I'll probably forget where they are. Now, let's get to the golden books. I am going to add the pages, incorporate the pages from the books in 2 different ways. Because for this book, this is where the hinge was on the golden book, where you open it up and it has the gold foil right here. Once you take that off, then the pages are too wide, so I'm folding them, and this is an idea that Gail Agostinelli came up with, so that's how I usually do my golden books. But for this one, this is an older book and the pages were more fragile, and when I tried to remove them, like get the staples out, this part here that's folded here, there was a big tear in it, so I had to trim that part off, and now the pages are separate, and I will have to put them back in. So I think that they're still in order. I don't think anything happened to get them out of order. So I think I want to take care of them first, so I make sure that they don't get messed up. So let's do this book first. I did cut some scrapbook paper. So what I did to prepare the books thus far was to just cut this off. This one came apart very easily because it was old. 25 cents. This one is from 1956, so that is 63 years old. So that's all I did, was just use my scissors and cut that off, or I could even pull it. Once I started cutting, I could pull it and it came off. And then I cut some papers. I'm going to trim these some more. The way the golden books are put together, the pages go right up to the edge and the top and the bottom. And when I'm making a journal, I want a little more room, so I am going to trim these down. I did trim the Mr. Rogers pages. And I cut scrapbook papers. Looks like I only did 3, so it looks like I have the fronts of the front page of each signature. So let's get these put together. Normally what I would do is use the scraps from the papers that I cut down to make hinges. So I do have a few papers that I cut already, so I can use those for some hinges. Or I could use any other scraps of paper that I have. And I want to, this page is the first page, but it cannot be connected to this because there will be pages in between. So 1, 2, 3, those are the 3 pages within the first signature of this book. And these are the back parts of those pages. So these go like that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let me show you what I'm talking about. This is how they come. They come in 2 signatures of 3 pages each. So before I trimmed off the torn part, it looked like this. So I have to put them back together like that. Way. So these 2 pages go together. I am going to hinge them, and this is page 3. This is page 2, and that of course is page 1. I don't need to number that because I can tell. These are the sturdier pages. I think I want a lighter weight paper to make the hinges. Now I just need my paper trimmer. I had to throw away a paper trimmer. It was the Recollections one, I think. And right in here where the blade goes, it had a wire that was wound, a wrapped wire or something, I guess to kind of guide this. And it started to, like some of the wire that was wrapped around it came apart. So it was just tearing the paper. So I had to throw it away. And this is the Hobby Lobby one, Paper Studio. So this is the one that this part, the blade thing, always falls off. It drives me nuts. I'm cutting a strip of paper 1 inch wide. And this is how I'm going to hinge my pages back together. Well, that's more than 1 inch. Doesn't matter, but it covers up more of the page if it's wider. And then I'll just trim it to the right length. And now I will use one of these strips of paper to hinge those two pages together. You can use glue stick, wet glue, double-sided tape, whatever you want to use. And I will just lay these pages down on it. Remove any excess tape that's showing so it doesn't get caught on the next page and tear it. This kind of tape runner tape that I have, the Scotch ATG, you can just rub the extra tape off. And then fold. I kind of line the corners up because I don't always put them on straight. So if I just folded this part, then the pages might be a little off. But I just match the corners up, and then this goes wherever it goes, and then the pages are straight. Okay, so that's page 3. Now I'll do page 2. You can put the hinge on whichever side you want. If there was something here I didn't want to cover up, I could put the hinge over here. I think these are okay. And there's page 2. I've got some tape sticking off the edge, so I'm just going to try to get it back onto the back side. Uh-oh. Because these pages are older and fragile, if I felt like I needed to, I could edge the edges of the pages with washi tape or thin paper or something. We'll see how it goes. I don't want to add too much bulk. So I line the corners of the pages up and then press a fold into that hinge. So now this first signature is just the way it was in the book. And I will put pages in between. Now, I have another signature to do, but I will spare you that. I'm going to trim this. So I have this paper trimmed to 11.5 by 7.5. I don't want these to be any bigger than that. So 11.5 would be 5 3/4, right? If you fold it. So I'm just gonna trim a little bit off the edge here. Whoops. And then 7.5. So I'm gonna trim some off the top. And then turn it over and trim it to 7.5. That way I don't have to take off too much from the top or the bottom. They both lose a little bit. And then there'll be a little bit of leeway within the book. The pages won't go right to the edge of the cover. I'm going to trim a little bit more off of the inner page because the further into the signature you go, the more the pages stick out. Boy, that's not even straight. Maybe it is. Okay, that looks good. So now I'm just going to add some additional pages. I have 4 pages in one signature so far. These two go with the other signatures. So I'm going to have the book pages in the first and the third signatures, and the center signature won't have the book pages. It'll just have a variety of other kinds of papers. So I went with kind of teals and blues, and I didn't have a lot of red, but I went with some pinks. So let's see if I can cut 3 pages at once here. Eleven and a half. By 7.5. So I did get to go see It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood with Tom Hanks. I didn't get to go see it with Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is in the movie. I went to see it with my daughter, and we both loved it. This is Home Office Budget. It's not vintage. It's 2005. Got it at the thrift store. We'll use some of these pages, 1 in each signature. And between the 2 books, I will have 6 signatures. Anyway, I highly recommend the movie. It was so good. I cried. Doesn't take much to make me cry, but I cried. And I don't have to trim them at all. I'll use some of this graph paper. This was my husband's. These are his markings, probably from some game he was playing. He loved board games, but I don't have the heart to tear those pages out. I'm just going to trim these down to 10. Make these a little bit shorter. I like it when all the pages aren't the same size. And I have a box of stationery here. So let's go through the stationery and see what we might want to put in these journals. Look how fat this box is. Could use that one. I like that one. Use a couple of those. I think I'll use this one because the edges keep getting bent. I'll trim those edges off and just use it so it'll stop getting damaged. This is probably more than I need. So I think we'll just stop pulling out paper. I think we have enough. I find stationery and note cards at rummage sale or at flea markets. I love it when I find them at the flea markets. So I want 6 pieces altogether. These don't need trimming. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, I pulled out more than I needed. I have this, which is an engineer's paper, I think. Got this at a flea market. And it's like a vellum paper. I didn't tear that out very good. But it's got a grid on it. I'll just use one of these. Oh, I pulled out an extra. I'll just use one for each book. And I could have it so that I can fold. I don't have to trim it to 11.5. I do want to trim the top part though. I can make a flap is what I'm trying to say. I cut it too short. I thought I cut it at 7.5. Must have had it at 6.5. That's okay. And then I'll just fold these in as a flap. So if I have one of those in each signature, I will need something else on the other two signatures. I have this old book, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Department of Highways Township Minute Book. I bought this at an antique mall when I went with my friend. I love the pages that have the writing on them. I'm going to do some blank pages. Trying to find the center of the signature. There we go. For these, I'll just cut them in half, and then I can get 2 pages out of each one. So they are almost 13 inches, so I'm going to cut it at 6.5 inches. Quite go all the way through the last page. I didn't quite cut that straight either. Cut it at 7 inches. This one, I don't want to lose that, so I'm going to fold these in. This all came out of that vintage book. Okay, now I want to also get some coffee dyed paper. I got some scrapbook paper that's coffee dyed that would work in these books. Then we can figure out if we have enough pages. I don't think I need to cut these, at least not lengthwise. This way. Pay attention. Well, my sister has a new grandbaby. The baby was born like 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, and she was 4 weeks early. So they needed some preemie clothes because everything they have is too big. She weighed 5 pounds, 5 ounces. So when my son saw on Facebook that they needed some preemie clothes, I'm just going to, well, I guess they're even. I thought the edge was uneven. Anyway, my son likes to help people when he can. And this is his cousin, you know. And when he saw that they needed some preemie clothes, he called me, just some shorts, and asked, and said he was going to go to Walmart and buy some preemie clothes and then take them out to my sister, who lives an hour away from us, and then she could get them to the baby's parents. So he asked if I wanted to join him, and I said yes. So he picked me up, he and his wife and Layla, and we went to and my daughter joined us too. When she heard what we were doing, she wanted to come. So we all went to Walmart, and it took us a while to find preemie clothes, but once we did, we hit the bonanza, and we all picked out some outfits, and we all got a pack of diapers. Little teeny tiny pack of diapers. That little tiny package was like a package of baby wipes, and it had 27 diapers in it. They're so tiny. But my daughter couldn't go with us to deliver them, but we went out and gave them to my sister. And so that was fun. Took a long time out of our afternoon and evening, but we got a flat tire coming home. We were still about a half hour, probably less than a half hour from home, and had to pull over at a Dollar General. Yep, had a flat tire, but right after we pulled over, and a guy pulled into the parking lot because he saw my son and his wife outside, you know, like checking under the car and stuff, looking things over, and he knew there was a problem, so he pulled in and to check with them. And he works on cars, and he doesn't like to see people struggling with car problems when he can fix them. So, I mean, my son knows how to change a tire, but this guy really helped a lot. We had a hard time getting the donut disconnected, you know, from the car so he could actually use it. So this guy actually did all the work. He took the donut over to where right across the street where he knew there was a place you could think, Diane, think. Use your words. Where he could inflate the tire. He just took care of everything for us, and it was cold and dark, and it was a blessing. There are good people in the world. I just told you yesterday about my daughter doing the sort of like an advent calendar for me, but it's little bags, little lunch bags with a little gift inside each one, because she likes to help people feel better. She does what she can to help people. I only cut 2 of those. I'm going to need more of that. And then my son did that. So I have kind and compassionate children. Their father was a very kind and compassionate man. People would tell me that he was the nicest man they ever met. And he was. He was very nice. Very kind and gentle. He was 6'5". Not a small person. And he lifted weights and did lots of exercise and stuff like that when he was younger. I mean, throughout most of his life, he exercised and lifted weights and stuff like that. So he was strong until he got older and started having some health problems. But he was gentle. He was strong but gentle. I don't know how I got onto that. Just trying to make conversation, I guess. So my kids take after him with their kind ways. It's quite a big flap, but I'm going to leave it there because I want those numbers. I use this to kind of gauge how far I have to fold it. I was going to do flaps on these too, right? Just trying to make sure I have enough for one journal. I don't have to fold all of them right now. Just want to see how we're doing page count wise. Then I have to go downstairs and make some Spritz cookies. You know what Spritz are? These are the cookies that my mother always made. The chocolate crinkles, I got those made and in the freezer. The Spritz with the cookie press. It's like a butter cookie, but you have a cookie press so they come out in pretty shapes. And sugar cookies, I got them done yesterday. And Layla put the colored sugar on for me as I frosted them. I really hate making the sugar cookies, and it's really not that big a deal. Once I make them, it's like that wasn't so bad. I just don't like doing it. But they were my husband's favorite, and they're my son's favorite, so they get made. So if I get the Spritz done and in the freezer, then I'll have 3 kinds, and then if I have time before Christmas, or we're going to have our Christmas celebration before Christmas because of my daughter's work schedule. So if I have time, I'll make the peanut butter kiss cookies with they have the Hershey Kiss in the middle. But I also have to make some candies I'm going to give my sisters for Christmas, and I have to have them done on the 17th, next Tuesday, because that's when we're getting together. So, I don't have much time for journal making. Well, that's more scrapbook paper than I need. Okay. This page is going to get cut. Oh, I have book pages too. Can't forget about these. They count as pages. So let's say, let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, those 2 pages got stuck together. I thought I lost one of these. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10. I think that's enough in a signature. But then the center signature won't have the book pages. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Don't want 2 scrapbook papers right together, although they are. Okay. So I guess I have enough kinds of papers out. I might have to cut a few more, but I don't have to go searching for any more types of paper. Some of these pages stick out a little bit. I can either trim that off, or I usually sew a trim here, and that would cover that. Let's see how these look in the book cover. All I have to do is find the book cover. Here it is. Okay, that's a good size. That's good. I just have to do, so hinge these together and then assemble that signature. And then I can work on this one. But I'll do this another day and show you how I prep these book pages for including in the signature. Alright, I'm going to turn the camera off and I'm going to collect the pages for the 3rd signature and then go make some cookies. So I will see you again hopefully tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.